Hello and welcome to Get Decked, the video series where I make budget Magic the Gathering decks for your casual games night and to introduce friends and family members to the game. In this episode we're going to carry on with our three coloured budget decks, and this time we're going to look at Ice Scream, which is a white, blue and black deck based all around snow and snow permanents and snow synergies, all that kind of stuff. Snow's a really a gimmick and mechanic I really like. I'm very fond of it. I built a blue-black snow deck like way back in the day when Cold Snap came out, and yeah, it's just stuck in there. It's something I really like, and I thought it'd be fun to build a deck around it, using more modern cards. So yeah, let's take a look at it. Before we do that, let's dive in, look at the Get Decked rules first. So these decks are 60 cards, they're designed for 1v1 games, no format restrictions, mostly commons and uncommons, no cards that cost more than $2 a time recording. We limit ourselves to 12 different non-land cards for a good mix of variety and consistency. Strong themes, low to mid complexity, so a new player can pick it up and understand it absolutely fine. But just because it's a casual deck doesn't have to mean it has to be weak or bad. So let's dive into it. Let's see what's in the deck. So we've got 23 creatures, 3 artifacts, 3 instants, 3 sorceries, 4 enchantments, and 24 land. We've got a mana curve off to the side there. So let's dive into it. So, firstly, how are we winning? So this is kind of like as like Esper decks normally are, is kind of like a slow, kind of control-y, grindy deck. We're trying to, essentially stall out the game until we win with, like basically a big flyer in the air. So in a way, it's kind of like a Skies deck, I suppose, or a bit of a control deck. So we've got 3 Ascendant Spirits first. So blue mana for a 1/1. You can pay 2 snow mana, which is really good, especially in 3 colors. So snow mana basically means it can come from any snow permanent. So it works really, really well in this deck, honestly. So 2 snow mana turns it into a spirit warrior with base power and toughness 2/3. Spend 3 snow mana when it's a warrior, and it gains flying and it becomes a spirit warrior angel with power and toughness 4/4. And then when it's an angel, you can spend 4 snow mana to put 2 counters on it, and it gains whenever it deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. Now that really, really fun thing with this is, so activating the first and second abilities multiple times does nothing. Like you can't keep doubling up on it. But the third ability, you can keep activating that. You can keep getting extra +1/+1 counters, but more interestingly, you get multiple versions of this, multiple instances of this triggered ability. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, you draw a card. So if you activate this third ability twice and it gets through and does combat damage, you get to draw 2 cards, and so on and so on. So really fun. It is a bit of a mana sink, but we are playing sort of like maybe a bit of a long game, bit of a slow, grindy, controlly game. So you do have to sink a lot into this to get it to work. But I think once it comes online, I think even when you hit that second ability, it's like just a 4/4 flyer. I think it's basically okay. If you want to, you could hold on to this. Actually, I wouldn't cast this immediately. I'd hold on to it until I think you'd get up to maybe like at least its first ability, like as soon as possible. Like maybe drop it like turn 3 and then immediately turn it into a 2/3. Or maybe hold on to it even to like turn 6, and then just turn it straight into an angel like at 4/4. Just activate all those abilities as quickly as possible. So a bit of a mana sink. It is a lot of eggs in one basket potentially, but that's why we've got 3 of them. And I think it's potentially a really big win condition. And then we've got 2 Adarka Valkyries, 4 and double white for 4/5. It's got flying and vigilance. Whenever a creature and you can tap it, whenever a creature other than it dies this turn, you return that card to the battlefield under control. So we got some stuff in here that we want to sacrifice. So this is a way we can bring it back, or even more cheekily, we can steal opponents' creatures with this if they die off, and we've definitely got ways of killing off opponent stuff, and then we can reanimate it onto our side. So really, really fun card actually, that you can save your stuff or steal opponent stuff. Really, really fun. Kind of actually, in retrospect, kind of wish maybe have 3 of these just to make sure you definitely draw it and have it go off. But obviously with these decks, adapt it however you want. I'm just here giving out the ideas and prompts essentially. And then 3 Hailstorm Valkyrie, who's just not as more straightforward than the other 2, less flashy, but still pretty good, I think. 3 in a black for a 2/2 with flying and trample. Always refreshing to see trample on a mono black creature. You can spend 2 snow mana to give it +2/+2 till end of turn, and just it's sort of like a shade ability. So can potentially punch up really, really hard, and maybe for less mana investment than the Ascendant Spirit. So these are our big flies that are essentially these are our main main win conditions. We do have a few other ways, but I would say these are the main win conditions. Just these kind of like big flyers that are going to get through after you've ground down the opponent a little bit. So we're going to talk about what helps us win. So firstly, we're going to have 2 Nafi Betrayer King. So a 3, a blue and a black for a 4/3. Gives all our snow and zombie creatures +1/+1. Every creature in the deck is a snow creature, so he's just giving you just an anthem effect, which is nice. And you can spend 3 snow mana to return him from your graveyard to the battlefield tap. So even if he does die, he just comes back and he's ready to go again. So yeah, just quite like Nafi. I think he was a pretty fun card to include. And then we've got 3 a Draugr Necromancer, so 3 and a black for a 4/4, which is like a fine stat line anyway, like 4 for a 4/4 with no drawback. So if a non-token creature an opponent controls dies, it gets exiled with an ice counter on it, and you can cast cards. Or you can cast spells from amongst the cards in exile your opponent's own with ice counters on them, and you can spend mana from snow sources as though it's mana of any card to cast those spells. Basically, this means is whenever an opponent's creature dies, it gets frozen, and we can cast frozen spells, and then we get them. So it's actually the kind of, along with the Darker Valkyrie, we're doing a lot of stealing of opponent stuff in this. Which I think is pretty fun and lends itself to kind of a meaner sort of control deck. So yeah, really fun. Really like Draugr Necromancer, and even if it's still like a 4/4 for 4, so it can sort of do an okay job of like attacking anyway, I think. But yeah, really fun ability. We've got 3 Frost Augurs, 1 blue for a 1/2. You can pay a snow mana and tap. You look at the top card of your library. If it's a snow card, you may reveal it and put it into your hand. Every card in the deck, apart from I think 4 other cards, no 3 when we get to it, are snow cards. So this basically reads 1 snow mana, tap, draw a card, which is really good. Like for on a 1-drop creature and for only 1 mana, just like tap, draw a card is really good. So yeah, really like Frost Augur. And then we've got 3 Graven Lore, so 3 in double blue. It's a snow instant. You scry X, where X is the amount of snow mana spent to cast this spell, which is always going to be 5. All our mana is coming from snow sources. And then you draw 3 cards. So yeah, we're essentially scry 5, draw 3, which is pretty good, I think, for 5 mana. Instant speed actually makes it really nice. I would always try and hold off and do this at the end of an opponent's turn, I think. Because 5 mana is like a pretty big investment into a draw spell, I think. But yeah, it being instant speed, I think, makes it really nice. So yeah, this is a good way of just drawing extra stuff, even though like Frost Augur is doing a really good job of like drawing us extra cards as well. So yeah, always ensure we're going to have stuff to do in our hands, I think. So we're going to talk about what stops them winning. So this is ways we're going to use removal to kind of mess around with our the opponent's plans. So first we're going to have 3 Squall Drifters, which is a favorite classic snow creature of mine. So 1 white for a 1/1, has flying. You can spend 1 white and tap 2 tap type creature. Just locks down big creatures. Classic like Master Decoy ability. Just gets blockers out of the way, stops big attackers. It's just a really good creature. Just good little utility thing to do. And then we've got 4 Priest of the Haunted Edge. So 1 the black for a 0/4. You tap and sacrifice him to give a creature -X/-X till end turn, where X is the number of snow lands you control. Activate this ability anytime you cast a sorcery. So let's look at him. I really like this guy, by the way. So the fact he's just like a 0/4 for 2 is a perfectly good sort of like defensive stat line anyway for early game. This obviously goes really nice as well with the a Darker Valkyrie, because we can either reanimate the Priest of the Haunted Edge and have this be repeatable, or we reanimate the thing that he's going to kill. So yeah, really nice interaction there. Depending on what you want to do, either you want to like maybe using the priest to like kill off small creatures, you want to keep reanimating the priest, or you kill off like a big thing that you're like, oh, I want to keep that, and you yoink that instead with the Darker Valkyrie. But yeah, really like Priest of the Haunted Edge. He's basically a kill spell, and he just scales up really nicely throughout the game. His ability doesn't cost any mana. It's only like you've got a timing limitation on it, and like he's got a tap, and that's it. And he's not going to be tapped anyway. You're not attacking with him. Really like Priest of the Haunted Edge. Really like it. And then sort of like more straightforward removal spells. So we've got 3 Dead of Winter, which was from, I think it's from the first Modern Horizon set, maybe the second one. But this is just a one-sided sweeper for us. So 2 in a black. This is the only non-snow card in the deck when I was talking about Frost Augur earlier. So all non-snow creatures get -X/-X to end turn, where X is the number of snow permanents you control. Every permanent in the deck is a snow permanent, so this can get really big, really assuming you cast this at the least turn 3, you got 3 snow lands out. That's -3/-3 to everything your opponent controls. and all your stuff is completely untouched. This is really, really nice with Draugr Necromancer as well, because obviously they all die, they all get exiled with ice counters on them, so then you can recast them later. Yeah, Dead of Winter is really, really nice, and I really wish this card had existed back in Cold Snap, because this would have absolutely gone into the blue-black snow deck I had at the time. Really, really good. And we've got 4 on Thin Ice, so 1 white mana. Enchants a snow land you control. All our lands are snow, so we're always going to have a target for this. You exile a creature until On Thin Ice leaves the battlefield, which, is... they obviously can destroy it. It's still just an enchantment, but yeah, I think it's pretty good. Like 1 white mana just to exile something is obviously pretty solid. No matter what it is, there's no restrictions on it. So yeah, really, really solid, nice little bit of removal, I think. Yeah, pretty good. Really like it. And then 3 Mouth of Ronom as a snow land. Taps give us 1 colorless, which can also count as snow mana for all the things that care about snow mana. You can pay 4 and 1 snow, tap and sacrifice, and does 4 damage to target creature. Really, really nice to have that's like 4 damage is like a really hefty amount, and to have it on a land is really, really good. Because then it's like colorless. There's no timing restrictions on it, like the Priest of the Haunted Edge. It's not like done at sorcery speed or something. It's just 5 tap, sack, and 4 damage to a creature, which is really, really good to have it on a land, I think. We're going to quickly talk about the mana base now to tide things over. So we've got 3 Cold Steel Hearts, just because we are playing, like 3 colors, and we haven't got any green either for like ramp or land searching, anything like that. So Cold Steel Heart, I think, is pretty good, and also it's another snow permanent for stuff like Dead of Winter. And it's a pretty good mana rock actually. So it's 2 mana, comes in tapped. When it ends the battlefield, you choose the color and you tap out 1 mana of the chosen color. Yeah, I think it's just pretty good, honestly. Yeah, I don't know what color you would normally pick. I guess it'd be like whatever you don't have in your available. I think it's good. And then in terms of lands, we've got snow covered basics. So we've got 6 snow covered plains, 7 snow covered swamps, and 8 snow covered islands. So I'd love to know what you think about this deck. Are there any changes you make to it? Like, is this a deck that you would like playing, or you got a friend or family member would enjoy this kind of this snow theme, like this kind of like more like control-y strategy? Yeah, definitely leave a comment below if you got any thoughts about it. Any cards that you'd sub in? I know there's obviously a whole bunch of other snow cards from like Cowtime, and also like much older sets like from Cold Snap. I was thinking of putting in stuff like Hydar, the all the other like Rhymewind cards, but in the end I thought I'd go with like newer cards, which I'm not as familiar with. I thought that would just be more fun. But yeah, would obviously love to hear your thoughts and input down below, so definitely stick that down there. But I hope you join me next time, because I've got 1 more of these budget 3 color decks coming at you, so I hope you join me to look at that. But until then, thanks for watching, listening, and have a great day.